Chair Lansing, members of the Regents, and other guests here today, it is quite an honor to be able to give a presentation on our outreach efforts from the Agriculture and Natural Resources from UC. We've got quite a bit going on. I've got a couple speakers here. Prior to introducing them, I'm going to give a very short overview, and then we look forward to some, hopefully piquing some questions from you if we're going to get you interested in what we're here to talk about. Let me start off by pointing out that engagement really is our basic DNA and has been for 150 years. We're really pleased to be celebrating the sesquicentennial this year, since many of our facets of our program were here at the very, very beginning. We're the part of UC that serves folks out in every single one of the 58 counties and really takes the power of UC directly to the people. Within our mission statement, there are 4 key points that I've highlighted here that much of our research and extension focuses on: safe, sustainable food systems, economic success in a global economy, sustainable and productive environments and natural resources throughout the state, science literacy, both for youth and adults. So this is a good map and overview of where we are. As I mentioned, we're in every county. In addition to those county offices where we have local advisors that are researchers, that is something that's actually quite unusual in the land-grant university system. In many states, the county-based farm advisors are simply what we would call community educators here. They take the info from campus and get it to people. In California, our county-based advisors are researchers and academics in their own right. In fact, increasingly, many of them have PhDs and are doing some very world-class research. We work with all the campuses. In fact, at this point, we now have specialists on 5 campuses and are in conversation with the 6th that we hope to have somebody placed at UC Santa Cruz soon. In addition to cooperative extension, which is the main way we are taking research and putting it out in the field, as well as doing research ourselves, we have 9 research extension centers scattered around the state. You can see those on the map as the large green stars. These range in size from a few hundred to several thousand acres. They're part of our infrastructure that researchers from throughout the system, as well as other collaborators, the CSU system, federal, state government, and private sector, utilize for a variety of research programs. In many ways, they're a crown jewel for UC in much the same way the natural reserve system is. When people ask me what the difference is, I often point out to them that both conduct research, but with the natural reserve system, it's look but don't touch. We touch the heck out of ours. We burn our acres, we plow them, we plant different things. That's part of the research we facilitate for folks from campuses and elsewhere. In addition to that, our agricultural experiment station, which California was again one of the early states west of the Mississippi to jump on board with, authorized by Congress in the 1880s, now serves 3 campuses. We have over 600 researchers on those 3 campuses in 4 schools. The College of Natural and Ag Sciences down at Riverside, the College of Natural Resources at UC Berkeley, and both the College of Ag and Environmental Sciences at Davis, as well as the Veterinary School at Davis. The deans of those colleges meet with me regularly, and they're part of the executive council that helps facilitate ANR and the campuses coordinating on our research and extension efforts. We have 9 statewide programs and 2 institutes, our Nutrition Policy Institute and Water Research Institute. I'm going to highlight a few stories about the programs in subsequent slides, but it's really important to understand that 4 of those programs have volunteers. Over 20,000 adults and 6,000 youth volunteers work with us to help extend the power of UC. Their time last year was estimated to be valued at about $40 million, the volunteer time. Though in addition to 4-H, which many people are familiar with, that includes the Master Gardeners, the Master Food Preservers, and the Cal Naturalists. So let me show 3 slides here that have some numbers on them. I'm not going to read the numbers. You're fully capable of doing that. I thought what I would do instead is share just a handful of stories that kind of brings those numbers to life a little bit. So let me start off first of all with the recent fires. In both Riverside and Sonoma County, one of the very first phone calls made almost immediately after the fire started was to folks like Claudia back here, who's our county advisor down in Riverside, to get the 4-H clubs mobilized to the county fairgrounds to take care of the animals that are evacuated during a fire, and for that matter, flood or any other natural disaster. This is a program that many counties take advantage of. It's one, though, that not all do. We're taking lessons learned from our recent fires and developing guidelines and putting into place better pre-management protocols to make that an even better solution for natural disasters in the state. In addition to that, our Cooperative Extension Sustainable and Fire-Safe Landscapes program works with homeowners throughout the state to do that pre-fire management that can help them withstand fire issues and reduce costs and losses. As well, we work with a variety of farmers right now who suffered damage from the fire. In fact, we've got some very interesting research going on about the effects of the fire on soil health that will help us design new methods of agricultural production moving forward. A second story here, in 2015, one of our studies identified over 3.5 million acres of farmland that could be used to recharge the aquifer, particularly down in the Central Valley. According to our UC Cooperative Extension researchers, if the infrastructure were in place, we could replenish what is typically pumped from groundwater in years when floodwater is available. Some regions with some of the worst groundwater overdraft and best suitability for on-farm recharge, such as the Tulare Basin, have no access to surface water. So this is an extremely important bit of research that we're working on. Let me take you to a few more numbers on payoffs. Again, these are numbers we're really proud of. I'd sort of love to read them off to you, but assuming you're reading them yourself, let me tell you a couple more stories. Urban coyote numbers are on the rise. This is a big issue in our urban areas. Police are increasingly reporting coyotes attacking pets and people. There was no place to actually report these encounters with coyotes. Given that, one of our UC Cooperative Extension folks down on the South Coast developed a new mobile app for the phone. It allows people to report these coyote sightings that then can facilitate greater management. Government agencies, wildlife researchers, park managers, and residents are now able to make better coyote management decisions for themselves. We're actually moving on to make use of this for other types of phone apps. Up on the North Coast, feral pigs are a huge problem, so we've created an app for that. And we've actually recently started making use of our master gardeners in Riverside and similar areas to start doing background tracking of citrus trees that might be suffering from citrus greening. Interdisciplinary research at our Kearney Research Extension Center down in the southern San Joaquin Valley on citrus disease detections uses computer vision, data management, and machine learning to create real-time vision-based sensors for disease detection in laboratory and field experiments. One farm advisor has also developed an autonomous field inspector robot with advanced sensors for on-site diagnosis of citrus diseases. Amplifying our reach, our UC ANR Nutrition Policy Institute, which is located in Berkeley, recently led a study working closely with UC Santa Barbara as part of the President's Global Food Initiative. The study of 9,000 graduate and undergraduate students found a 19% occurrence of food insecurity, with 54% of those folks new to food insecurity. The model of combining quantitative findings with qualitative analysis and stories was instrumental in informing President Napolitano's allocation of funding to address UC student food access issues. And just in case it seems like everything we're working on somehow involves a disaster or a problem, let me share a couple little happier bits of story. There are numerous benefits to spending time in the outdoors, but there's also a lot of barriers. According to the California Outdoor Engagement Coalition at UC Berkeley, barriers include time, knowledge of terrain, and monetary constraints. Additionally, barriers can be related to race and socioeconomic status. ANR partnered with the Berkeley Coalition to engage our 4-H Latino initiative and increase the exposure of underserved youth to nature. This has been very successful, and we are now exploring options to expand this initiative to other communities and engage more with both 4-H and our California Naturalist program. And my last story, just in case any of you are looking for something really fun and interesting to do this weekend. UC Master Gardeners and Master Food Preservers are holding a joint class this Saturday at our Central Sierra Cooperative Extension Office to teach local residents how to turn a bumper crop, they've had a huge crop this year, of hops into homemade beer. Participants will learn how to make a wet hopped beer using fresh hops, or how to dry and use the hops for later use. Several methods of dehydrating hops will be included in the class, and I'm sure they'd love to see any of you that would want to go up there. So last but not least, this is my last slide. I just want to re-emphasize, as I mentioned earlier, we are working with all 10 UC campuses, the national labs, and the medical centers. Increasingly, we're partnering with our CSU system, and we have a great amount of partnership going on this past few years with our community colleges, and a great deal more coming. We work with state and federal agencies, business and industry, nonprofits, and one of the things we're doing a lot with right now as part of our innovation initiative is working with makerspaces and incubator hubs throughout the state to ensure that our agriculture and natural resources sectors, as well as rural communities, have access to the type of support they need to facilitate innovation and entrepreneurship. Increasingly, we're doing a great deal of international work. In fact, one of the places I was really proud to be a year ago was in Mexico, signing an MOU with the Mexican government to create 4-H clubs in Mexico, a program that's been growing rapidly. In fact, the governor of Baja has actually been in our Imperial County office so often as we were arranging this, they actually gave him a phone and desk of his own to use while he was there. So it's been a really great partnership. I'm going to close with that and move to our other two speakers. And as I said earlier, I hope that we can answer some questions for y'all. Let me first introduce Melina Granados. Melina's mom and our Cooperative Extension County Advisor for 4-H Youth Development in Riverside County are both here with her. Melina is the president of the Eastside Eagles 4-H Club in Riverside County. She was born in Mexico, and she and her family arrived in the U.S. in November of 2014. She's participated in 4-H since the summer of 2016, when her club organized the very first garden showcase at the Community Settlement Association, a local nonprofit that provides a space for her club to meet. Melina and her club also put together their first Noche Mexicano event in this center to raise funds for their club projects. In the fall of 2016, Melina was part of the 4-H delegation that interviewed businessmen and women during the California Hispanic Chamber of Commerce annual convention. She recently participated in California 4-H Southern Youth Summit, a 3-day leadership conference, and today she's here to share with you how 4-H has helped her to develop her leadership skills. Melina. Push the button.
Hello, good morning. My name is Melina Granados, and I am here to share with you my experience with 4-H, why I like it, and how it has helped me. So I like 4-H because, first of all, I get to run my club, and that's really fun because you get to give orders and tell them what we're going to do in the future and what we did in the past. I also get to run our meetings, and I get like this little hammer, and I get to smash it like order in court, and it's really fun. I also get to do a lot of fun activities like gardening or going to new places. Like today, I've never been here in San Francisco, and I got to come here, and it's really a good experience to be here, and I'm glad to be here. I also really like that we get to work together as this huge team to become this 4-H group that creates a lot of fun. and we get to paint or learn about insects, about art, and different things in my club. At first, I didn't know what I was getting into, but after I realized that it was a really fun experience and that I would really recommend it to a lot of kids. My experience with 4-H has been really good so far, and I hope it stays that way. 4-H has helped me because I was really timid and shy at public speaking, but then I joined 4-H and it has really helped me in my public speaking, and now I'm not too scared of talking in front of people. Like right now, I'm doing it. And it has also helped me in my studies, and I got to overcome my fears of being in the sky because I flew here. And that was a fun experience, even though I was scared and I got dizzy. But still, it was fun. And I really recommend 4-H. It's a fun activity and something that is not too difficult, and it's really fun to do. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed my speech.
Absolutely. You did a great job.
We thoroughly enjoyed your speech. You're a wonderful representative of 4-H, and you have totally gotten over your fear of public speaking. You were terrific. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're really excited about some of our new Latino outreach clubs around the state, but they're only the tip of the iceberg. Some of the other very fast-growing areas in 4-H include our military program. As you might imagine, when military families get uprooted every few years, it's quite stressful on families and kids. 4-H is in all 50 states, so it provides some continuity. It's one of our fastest growing programs, as are drones, STEM programs, robots, and others. We're doing quite a big push into urban areas and looking to really grow our 4-H youth development program throughout the state in the coming years. So with that, let me turn it over to somebody that probably doesn't need an introduction to this group, Chancellor Dorothy Leland from UC Merced.
Well, I won't be nearly as good or charming as this wonderful young person next to me. She did an excellent job, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this morning. So, you know, 101 years ago this month, Professor V.C. Bryant from UC's Agriculture Extension came to Merced County to give a talk to a group of farmers. He spoke about new trends in agriculture and the value of developing a network for the exchange of ideas between the researchers and the folks out there in the field. By March of that year, a petition was drafted and $2,000 had been raised for the creation of the first UC Farm Advisor in Merced County. This legacy of UC ANR outreach and engagement in our community continues to this day and has been expanded since UC Merced opened in 2006. And in many ways, UC ANR and UC Merced have some common missions. We both support and sustain California's natural and agricultural resources, or we seek to. UC's ANR works in both rural and urban communities, and we do have some urban communities in the valley, but mostly they're rural and very poor. And we are committed to maintaining California's environmental leadership. So one of the many bright spots at Merced are the talented group of researchers pushing the technological boundaries at, oops, I'm skipping the page, sorry. So our belief in these missions has led to a number of formal partnerships with ANR that continue to benefit the campus and the community. I just want to briefly describe a few of them. First, we do have UC Cooperative Extension people embedded in our some of our academic programs. So a researcher such as Tappan Patak, Tappan specializes in how agriculture adapts to climate change and works closely with faculty in UC Merced Sierra Nevada Research Institute. Or Dr. Karina Diaz Rios I have to apologize, I forgot my reading glasses, and this type is a little too small. So Dr. Karina Diaz-Rios, she's a leader in nutrition, family, and computer sciences, and she's working to resolve the disconnect of how our region with so much agricultural productivity can also be the home of such high poverty and food insecurity. And based on their successes, the campus and UC ANR are now taking steps to embed a third cooperative extension specialist who will be located at UC Merced School of Engineering and will focus on water and watersheds, which, as you know, with increasing recurring droughts in the state of California is a really vital area of focus. So one of the bright spots at UC Merced are the talented group of researchers pushing the technological boundaries of what can be done using unmanned drones. Housed at UC Merced, the UC Center of Excellence on Unmanned Aircraft Systems Safety is working hand-in-hand with ANR's Mapping and Informatics program to solve technical and programmatic challenges in this emerging field. So a lot of our drone research is focused on the use of drones in agriculture. And UC Merced and UC ANR are also working to support the next generation of entrepreneurs who are focused on the intersection of agriculture, computer science, and engineering. And so, for example, our campus's Venture Lab and its Citrus Lab have partnered with UC's ANR Verde Innovation Network to provide technology transfer and management services. So, as you know, federal regulations require that animal research be overseen by a committee that reviews research protocol. And as part of our partnership, UC Merced's Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee serves as the oversight entity for all animal research conducted by ANR investigators statewide. So it's an example, the partnership goes both ways. They contribute to initiatives on campus, and we contribute to some of their initiatives. And then finally, something I'm very happy about because it was a number of years in the making. Given the history of ANR, there is a data trove from the research being conducted in agriculture all over the state. And a few years ago, we created an MOU with UC ANR, making UC Merced's library the official digital archive for more than 100 years of UC cooperative extension records. So we're going to digitize these records, make them available to researchers across the state and farmers and agricultural producers across the state. And we just recently received a $300,000 grant from the National Historic Publications and Records Commission in support of this project. So we continue, as we mature, we'll continue to take advantages of the ways in which UC ANR can help us, and hope to sustain a productive partnership with you. Thank you.
So that's our presentation. I would love to answer a few questions if folks have them.
Great presentation. Can we have some questions or comments? Sure.
So Melina, might you consider attending the University of California when you get out of high school?
Yes, I think it would be a great opportunity for me because I actually want to keep studying, because some kids don't because they're lazy, but I actually want to keep studying.
Would you consider running for president? No, you were just fantastic, and really congratulations to the 4-H Club, and congratulations to all three of you on the remarkable work you're doing. And the lack of questions is just because you were so clear and concise, and we understood it all, but we're very, very enthused. So thank you so very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job.